Hi, I'm Jack Canfield, your host for Talking About Success. I have a wonderful guest tonight, Peggy Caruso. I just want to tell you, we are talking all things success, health, wealth, happiness, parenting, everything that will help you be more successful. And one of my guests tonight is I'm going to say multi-dimensional coach that works with a lot of different areas with people. You have a parenting book called Revolutionize Your Child's Life. I love that. And then you have, which we're going to talk more about tonight, Revolutionize Your Corporate Life. And you are an 8-time entrepreneur. You're an author, certified executive and personal development coach with over 28 years of experience, which is phenomenal. So let's start with, why did you decide to become an executive and personal development coach?
Well, I'm very entrepreneurial, as you know, because I've had 8 businesses. So corporate is my passion. I've in those businesses, a lot of people say, oh, you know, you're very successful, but I wasn't always. It's been a rough road. There's, trying to make it. One of the businesses that I bought was a restaurant. And I mean, I took it from here when I bought it to here in 4 years by a factor of 10,
Wow.
10 times over. So I am successful. And I, like I said, I got into it because I love doing that. But I also really just love helping people. I love helping kids and moms find their way. I help a lot of children with issues in school. Like I'm sure they, from the news and everything, you hear how much bullying and cutting, depression, anxiety. So I help a wide variety of people.
So you have this Revolutionize series.
I do.
These are 2 books. You have a 3rd one coming out.
No, I have 3 actually.
Oh, you have 3 out already?
I have a 4th one coming out.
Okay, I just didn't have that with me
Right.
today. Good. So you've trademarked that with the U.S. patent attorneys and all that kind of stuff, the word revolutionize. Why'd you do that? Why'd you trademark it?
Well, for several reasons. First of all, I write books because it coincides with different aspects of my coaching. Like the Revolutionize Your Child's Life is a book on preventative measures for parents. And then Revolutionize Your Corporate Life is for my clients. My first book was actually just Revolutionize Your Life. And that was for just general, for
Right.
people having issues and stuff. But I believe that everybody needs to leave this world with a legacy. What are you passionate about? What would you want them to say at your eulogy? I was very impressed. Are you familiar with The Dash, the poem?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
The first time I saw that, it inspired me. And it was like, what am I going to do? What legacy do I want to leave? And even though I'm good in the corporate world, I love and I have a passion for helping children. I really do love it. And I can see how, like, teaching them success principles makes them successful as they grow. Like, I've had some kids for 4 and 5 years, and it's amazing to me how far that they've come. I have good kids, I have bad kids. Sometimes I have the bully, and it's really neat to see that transformation. So I got the books trademarked so I can continue to write, and I want to take a portion of the proceeds, and I want to start a nonprofit. I want to do some sort of I don't have all the details, but like an academy for children, because I really believe that that they can be successful adults if they don't have, if they're in the foster care program, if they don't have their biological parents, or they come from abusive homes. And so that's my goal.
So you've made a real commitment to make a difference in the world.
I have.
Now, you mentioned the poem, The Dash. Not everyone's familiar with that. Just give people a quick summary of what that was about.
It's about, when you pass. They talk about the date that you were born and then the day that you die and then the little dash in between. And that's when you pass. Of course, they know your birth and your death, but what happened in that dash that you could make a difference in the world.
Very good.
I love it.
Now, you've successfully created and operated 8 businesses, and very successful.
Very.
So what are the personal events that have led to your success?
There's been a lot. Like I said, it's amazing when people start coaching with me. The first thing they say is, well, how would you know? Because you're sitting across that desk with, your education and all success. And no, it wasn't like that at all. It was a lot of struggles. I have a lot of stories I could tell about my personal life, and I've been in a lot of bad relationships, and how do you learn and grow? I've lost my entire life savings and rebuilt it.
Really?
I've had, theft. I've had all kinds of things. So it's been a rough road. So I've reached success, but it wasn't easy. I always say, if it was easy, everybody'd do it.
No, I always say if it was easy, everyone would be thin and healthy. So, what are some of, as you look back over that career of all these successes, what have been some of the principles that you've operated by or some of the lessons you've learned that allowed you to be so successful? If you were coaching someone, what would you tell them?
There's a lot of different things. I really think that when you experience something negative, if you can find a way, which I help people do that, is to remain positive and know that, one of my favorite things to tell everybody is there's a solution to every problem. Mm-hmm. So when you gain clarity and you can stop and think and mastermind with people, all those principles that I've learned throughout my life, how beneficial it is that if you don't have the answer, somebody else does. And that's what helps you learn and grow. Mm-hmm. And I also, have incorporated different things in my business that make my coaching so different than anybody else's. And that is, I have multiple certifications. So you're familiar with NLP, correct?
Yes, Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
Mm-hmm. So I'm a practitioner of that. I am a relaxation therapist, and I understand behavioral patterns of people. And so understanding those behavioral patterns help you understand where their fears come, where their habits come from, and then how you can put a plan of action together to help them overcome those obstacles.
Mm-hmm. Now, not everyone's familiar with NLP. It's just some initials hanging out there. Just give people a little bit of sense of what that's about.
It's a way that you learn how to identify behavioral patterns for people and then modify them. A lot of it's metaphorical, as you know, and it's very beneficial, especially like for children. It's also good for, when I said I do relaxation, I do things to help people lose weight and stop smoking and things like that. So that's a very good, it has many, many techniques that you can use. There are thousands of techniques.
So you've got a full toolkit of things you can use. That's great. That's great. So you say that personal and professional coaching goes hand in hand. What do you mean by that?
I think that's why when I got into coaching, everyone said you have to have a niche, but you really don't. You can coach everybody because they do go hand in hand. So to me, a good coach, if you are coaching someone, an executive, you better know the personal development side of it because it's things like time and stress management or balancing career and family. You know as well as I do, those two go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And so that it's that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. So if I came to be a coaching client of yours, what could I expect?
Results.
Results. No, it's a good answer. It's a good answer. Can you give us a little taste of maybe someone you've worked with and where they started and where you ended up with them? Just curious.
Well, I'll give you an example of actually a child, since we're talking a lot about what I want to leave my legacy, and a child who was severely abused and bullied in school to a big extent, and that needing direction. So I started working with that child and redirecting that negativity to positivity, and in doing so, I do what we call a skill set exercise. And everybody was focused on this child, in one area. And then when I did my skill set exercise, the child was very artistic, that no one even recognized that, and bought them a program on how to become a cartoonist. And they started building a business when they were young.
How cool is that?
That's very cool.
That's very cool.
So it does work.
So do you have a corporate example of something you've accomplished or some breakthrough someone's had? I'm just curious. You're working in so many areas.
I do. I have a lot of clients in the corporate realm, but one in particular that comes to mind is somebody that was very, very good at what they do, very successful, owned their own business. But you asked me about personal and professional going hand in hand. Mm-hmm. That person's personal life played a major impact, and they just couldn't see it. So as me being an outsider, we identified that and then put a plan together. And when we did that, then we worked on the business plan for the business. But the person didn't even realize that the personal issues were causing that person not to be able to go forward in their own business. So we could put a plan together, but if I would have put a plan together before identifying the personal saboteur, then it would have never worked.
So do you find that most people, that's really what's happening? There's some internal sabotage going on? Or
Absolutely.
Some limiting belief they don't even know they have, or some behavior they picked up in childhood?
I always say if you come in and, you're an intelligent person, you own a business, and you want to make a change, I can hand you a plan of action, but it isn't going to work unless you figure out why what you're presently doing isn't working.
Right. Very good. So if someone's looking to hire you as a coach, or if they want to bring you in as a speaker into their organization, where do they go? How do they find you?
You can go to my website, www.lifecoachingandbeyond.com, and all my books are for sale on all the online bookstores, and all my contact information is on my website.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate
Thank you.
it. All right. You heard it here. 1,000 tools in her toolkit. So there's no reason to stay stuck, whether it's personally or in your corporate world, or as a parent, another one of your books as well. All right. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back after this message.